Welcome to Life Recovery Today with Stephen Arterburn. In the next half hour, you'll obtain insights and tools to transform your life using the biblical principles found in the 12-step program. We believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience because we all have struggles in life. Struggles with addictions, food, depression, anxiety, and relationships, to name a few. You'll be encouraged to see how others have found a new way of life with hope for the future through life recovery. Your host is Steve Arterburn, founder of New Life Ministries and Women of Faith, author of over 100 books, and teaching pastor at Northview Church in Carmel, Indiana, one of the 20 largest churches in America. Steve is the co-editor of the Life Recovery Bible, the #1 selling recovery Bible. With over 3 million copies sold, this is the Bible given to inmates by Prison Fellowship and the Pew Bible for the Salvation Army. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Welcome to Life Recovery Today. Steve Arterburn here. As always, very happy that you've joined me today. And today we're continuing to go through these steps. 12 steps that reflect the wisdom and the truth of the Bible. That's where they came from. And you know, many of our recovery counselors and coaches are finding ways to use these 12 steps in every way possible to encourage people to go deeper into their growth, their relationship with each other and with Christ. Now today we're going to hear from Craig Brown, and he's going to be talking about what I think is one of the most unique steps of the 12, step 6. We became willing to ask God to help us remove our defects of character. Now in the next step, 7, we're going to ask God to remove them. Here's a step all about getting ready to ask God for something. Because when we come to God and say, I want you to help me here and get rid of these things, well, we've got to be ready for that. Because it's not going to be easy. And we're not going to have a lot of fun doing it. So here's a step where we make sure we're ready. How many people have just moved right on and they never were fully ready to have God do a work in their life? Now, Craig's an author, he's a speaker, a recovery pastor in Washington, D.C., and you know, he's just helped thousands of people. He's been sober over 38 years, and I think you're going to really enjoy hearing him because he's one of these people that he knows these steps, he's lived these steps. And a step in the right direction is where Craig tells you how to make the 6th step a reality in your life. Here's Craig.
Welcome to step 6. Congratulations. You're halfway there. You're halfway there. My friends have done a really good job guiding you through steps 1 through 5 to get here smack dab in the middle, which is why step 6 was put right here in the middle of the 12 steps, because you are now, as the step says, we're entirely ready to have God remove our character defects. Entirely ready. My friends have shared with you the importance of steps 1 through 5 in guiding you and equipping you. And that's what the whole purpose of the 12 steps, but specifically step 6. It's placed right here in the middle because all of the previous steps have groomed you, helped you, help you heal, change, grow, take responsibility, be honest with yourself till you can get here at this juncture, right in the middle with step 6, and be entirely ready for God to remove your character defects and your shortcomings. I added that one. But here we are, okay? And the most important thing, one of the most important things you've done through the first 5 steps to get to here is develop something that is so much needed in our life, and that is self-awareness. That's right. In order for you to carry out step 6, you need an abundance of self-awareness. Okay? And that is exactly what you have developed here over these days, weeks, and months. So you're to be commended. Congratulations for doing all that hard work to get to this point where you are now uncovered so many different things in your recovery, your life, your heart, your soul through this process. So what do we do now? What do we do with these character defects and where did they come from? Right? We're entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character, as the step says. Well, what are these character defects? I've shared this lesson, I've shared the steps and been through the steps myself personally, but over the years, and I came up with a list. Actually, it's easy to find on Google if you want to Google character defects. But there was a list of 194 character defects. And I don't know if I have all of them, but I've had and worked through quite a few of them when I got to this step myself. But here's a few. These may ring a bell with you, may not, but it should once you reach this very important crossroads in your recovery. Anxiety is a character defect, believe it or not. Being aloof, argumentative, having some arrogance is a character defect. Blaming others is a character defect, and that's something that we have now completely changed over these first five steps to get here because I don't know about you, but I was set free 38 years ago and been working on my recovery and helping others in recovery for years. But I just remember back then blaming everybody but myself. But here's the cool thing about step 6 and arriving here is that you are now being honest with yourself and other people, honest with God, yourself, and others. And I hope you have that network developed through the life recovery groups. Okay. But here's a few more: cheating, complaining, being critical, dishonest, gossiping, uh-oh, self-hatred, codependence is a character defect, actually. Insensitivity, irresponsibility, laziness, lustful, lying. List goes on and on. Impatience. Oh man, I'm still working on that one. Worry, vengeful. Those are all different character defects, things that we have maybe picked up, and without even knowing it, and that's the beautiful thing about self-awareness is that when you enter into life recovery groups and you're in that very safe place with people that you can trust, and you maybe take on a sponsor or accountability team and they get to know you very well. Maybe you've extricated yourself from the unhealthy, unsafe people that you used to socialize or fellowship with, right? Who always wanted to fix you. Well, that's not the case in life recovery groups, right? They're there to listen, to care, to love you unconditionally, to pray for you, to guide you. Many of them have been further along than you have, which is excellent because they would be able to see things in you that you may not be able to see in yourself until now. Why? Self-awareness and being honest with yourself and honest with others. Okay. So now, let's look at this. There's a number of different questions we may ask ourselves. Why is it positioned where it is? I've already covered that because of your developing self-awareness. And also remember about the 12 steps and how they're designed. Steps 4 through 7, as my friends have shared earlier about steps 4 and 5 and 1, 2, and 3. You're working on the personal side of your recovery. The steps are strategic in that way, in that in order for your relationships to heal, for you to heal, for your heart, soul to heal, for you to change behaviors, the first 7 steps are specifically designed for the personal side of your recovery. And once you are able to heal that heart of yours, that soul of yours, that behavior of yours, and change behavior, and allow Jesus and allow the Lord to be Lord over your recovery and healing, then your relationships, you can work on those later in the following steps. Okay. So steps 4 through 7, all about the personal side of your recovery, and specifically this one, because you're taking a real close look at you, and you are the most important person in your life. Yes, you are. One, you're created in God's image. He loves you. You're a masterpiece, right? And you have amazing future and success ahead of you. And you're now at a place where you are going to carry out uh, the mission and purpose in your life that you were designed to have, right? He has that set for us. We have to find it. But if we're in the midst of our addiction, life struggles, challenges, and all these other things, it's lost there. But now you're getting clarity of mind. You're getting clarity. You're putting away the old false reality and you're developing a brand new one, a Christ-like reality. And that has everything to do with taking an honest look at you, the most important person in your life. Okay? It's you. Work on you. No one else in these steps. Work on you. Make all the effort to do that. So it's strategically put here right in the middle of these steps. Now, some things you may get hung up on, and it's natural, okay? Because listen, um, you may not until now have put much effort into accepting your blind spots, defects, and shortcomings until now. So it may be difficult at the start to really take an in-depth look at you because maybe you're not excited to see some of these things or admit some of these things, and that's natural. It's okay. Let yourself off the hook, okay? But what I have witnessed in the lives of many people over the last 2 decades is it can be a little bit difficult to start. To really take an in-depth look at yourself, especially your character defects. So some people get hung up on this, okay? But I'll tell you this though, you've made it through step 4. Oh my goodness, which is the step, one of the most difficult steps, okay? But you made it through step 4, and now you're here 2 steps later, step 6. It may be difficult at the start, but hang in there. Hang in there and do not quit. Do not quit. Because even though it gets a little challenging, even though it may be a little bit painful, okay, let's admit that, you will, with Christ's guidance and love and support, get through this. You can. You will be able to get through this step. And it's just a wonderful crossroads for you right here smack dab in the middle. So there may be that may be an area of concern that you need to at least admit may be there, may be a little difficult. All the steps can have its own difficulty associated with it, but you are working through it and you're to be commended because you are now entirely ready. And I mean entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character.
Are you going through your struggles alone? Do you want someone to talk to help you through your pain? Do you feel like a failure when you relapse again, telling yourself, next time will be different? Don't walk this path alone anymore. Join a life recovery group today and be a person that your friends and family can be proud of. God created us to be in community, and we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country, and if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. Life Recovery brings recovery to you, right where you are. You'll take a journey with others to find healing and freedom. Whether you're looking to join a group or start one, New Life Ministries is here for you. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or visit liferecoverytoday.net. It's hard to find a trusted friend when you're in crisis. Someone who's been there and understands, but who also has the training and skill to give you practical help. Family, friends, and churches want to help, but often they're not equipped to care for those dealing with problems like addiction and pornography, infidelity, anger, depression. New Life Ministries is here to provide help and hope in life's hardest places. We're not focused on making people feel better. We're focused on helping people do the work that will help them be better. At New Life, we have resources available to help you, like books, DVDs, CDs, workshops, and our network of licensed counselors. If you need help, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and begin your new life today. 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 1-800-NEW-LIFE Life recovery isn't just about making the courageous choice to give up an addiction or dependency. It's a journey towards health, wholeness, and becoming your very best you. If you need resources to help you in your journey, we can help. There are many life recovery resources that you can do on your own, with a group, or with your church. We have Bibles, workbooks, and devotionals that you can use to work your recovery right where you are. That's the beauty of life recovery. To learn more or to get the Life Recovery Bible or any other life recovery resource, visit liferecoverytoday.net or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Well, as Craig went through that list of character defects, I'm just wondering, painfully, did you recognize, I've got some of these? Well, you're normal, if that's so. I want to continue as Craig helps us not just to recognize as he did, but how do we deal with these defects? Because sometimes if we don't deal with them well, the shame just overcomes us. And if we don't deal with them deeply enough, doesn't do any good. Because if you're aware but not willing, well, what good is that? Here's Craig talking about those defects.
Now, the question you may ask yourself is, well, where did they come from? Well, we've had them most of all of our life, pretty much. I mean, if you think about it, think about how you dealt with pain, shame, guilt, betrayal, abandonment, abuse, or trauma, those things as a very young person. And we all develop these coping mechanisms and how to deal with them. All the different emotions and different things we were going through growing up. And a lot of times those coping mechanisms, they worked fairly well. But if not careful, they will become extremely unhealthy in our life, right? And so these coping mechanisms turn into then character defects, and we have no further to look than our parents. What type of example were they? What type of experience did you have in your household when you were growing up? Okay. You may have just taken on from them the same character defects that they had. How they deal with anger, jealousy, resentments, bitterness, gossiping about other people and things. And naturally, we're seeing the pattern and we're taking on some of these own character defects. And again, if we're not careful, they will become very unhealthy later on in our life. And they will contribute to our dysfunctional lifestyle, especially when we're dealing with an addiction. And a lot of our past has been the catalyst for our getting into and struggling with addiction because we're medicating the pain. We're running and escaping. We don't want to deal with it. We know what it looks like. We know how, we don't even want to go there. And it's understandable. It's understandable, but it's not healthy and it's not Christ-like. Okay. The whole point is to make a total switch where my desire is to please myself and medicate and escape the pain. That's the old me. The new me is I desire Christ. I desire to be holy and blameless in his sight. And I want to make the entire switch. The effort I put into hiding and running and nurturing all these character defects is the same energy I'm going to put into getting closer to him and devoted to God, the only one, through Jesus, to set us free emotionally, mentally, physically, and develop us spiritually. Okay, so that's where we are there. That's just where we are there. Now, what is the hardest part of this step, would you say? The hardest part? Coming face to face with us. Coming face to face with your shortcomings and defects. That's probably the hardest part, I would say, based on my own experience and the observations I've made over many years. Taking a real good close look at you. Taking a real good close look at me. And again, I mentioned earlier, sometimes we just don't like what we see. And that is natural, but we have to push through it. even though it may be the hardest part of the step, taking a real in-depth look at me or in-depth look at you, you got to push through it. There's no quit. There's just no quitting. You've made it to step 6. You push through whatever you may do. What about support for this step? Support. As I mentioned earlier, the life recovery groups. Fantastic, safe, supportive environment in which you need to be to get healing, support, fellowship, and very important, accountability. Okay. None of these steps, matter of fact, there's nowhere in the Bible that anyone was instructed to go heal alone. Nowhere. So the same is true today. You should not be doing this by yourself. You need people that love you unconditionally, people who are safe, and people that you can trust. And you'll find them in the life recovery groups. And especially, you should have that. And I'm sure, and I know my friend shared this in step 4 in sharing about step 4, but all the way through, we should have that support, extra support, because you'll want to walk through these things with your accountability partner or your sponsor. You'll want to share these things with them and for them to be on the lookout, and to be able to share lovingly, mind you, not fixing you, loving you, bring up maybe an area of concern they observe. And believe me, don't just work through it. Keep working through it. You may not get it right the first time. I've been asked, do you go through the 12 steps often? No. I know so many people that have gone through the 12 steps, worked through them in completion totally multiple times. You may not get it right the first time. I don't know if we ever do, but, yeah, keep working through it. And if you have to go through again and repeat, go back and repeat. Okay. The same is true when my friend shared about step 4, the inventory. It's always being revised because you're meeting new people, new experiences, new challenges, new pain, other situations that you should have in your inventory. And the same is true with this step as well, because we may not get rid of all the character defects right off the bat. There may be things that the Holy Spirit is going to work through you. As you become more willing and trusting and open and honest, the Holy Spirit works through you he's done it so many times in my own life and life of others that I've seen. He'll sift through and point things out. He just will. That's a beautiful thing about being in a relationship with Jesus, is that the Holy Spirit just, points things out that he wants to change in our life. Next question I get often, is there a time frame? All of our fingerprints, every single one of us, there are no identical fingerprints anywhere around the world, billions of people, right? You were individually made. You are special, masterpiece, made in God's image. So the same is true in everything you do in your life. Your timetable may be entirely different than someone else. And here's a caution, a caution I share with people all the time. Don't compare yourself with anybody else in your group. Don't ever do that. Yes, you can admire how far they've been, what they've been through, how much healing they've had. They're serving, they're leading, and what have you. As I mentioned, you're the most important person in your life, and your timetable is your timetable. Don't try to hurry through it. And the beautiful thing about an accountability team and life recovery groups is they can help you with your pace. A real seasoned veteran mentor guide in recovery who's been there and worked extremely hard on their own recovery can see see the pace in another and say, I think you're dwelling too long in this area or this area, and you may want to move it along a little bit, but don't let anybody tell you how or that anything independent of your own pace is what I'm trying to say. Work through it at your own pace. There's no hurry in recovery. Absolutely no hurry in recovery. But I see people getting frustrated often because we wanted it yesterday. Oh my goodness, I want this pain, I want this shame, I want this guilt. I want to over time. Well, let me ask you this, okay? Um, time time just flies. We blink. and we're already at the end of summer or already into the winter season and you think a year may be an eternity, and it can feel that way when we're suffering. Yeah, it seems to be prolonged. The Bible's very clear about a short time. And that short time may be months, maybe weeks, maybe days, could be a year. Who knows? Who knows? But just follow your heart, follow, the pattern that you've developed in your own recovery with the help of your support team. And again, there's no date that you have to get this done. No date that you have to get this done ever. Okay. So a word of encouragement. A word of encouragement. Um, Again, you're to be commended for working all the previous steps to get to where you are now. Take an honest inventory of yourself. The most important person in the world right now is you in your recovery. Okay? Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about anybody else. Yes, I understand you're in recovery because of your marriage, etc., etc. But for a marriage to heal, each individual has to heal on their own track. One can't do it for the other. Okay. Same with relationships. Don't let anybody just, quiet the people in the periphery. Focus on the people in your life recovery groups, the safe and trusted people, and allow them to support you and guide you all through this step 6. Again, you've arrived here, and now you're entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. I wish you the best on your journey.
Welcome back. Well, did you discover that you have some work to do in the area of character? Well, we all do. And what a great thing, because your character's in your soul, and that's going to heaven. So when we're doing character work, we are doing work that's going to show up in heaven. Now, it can be difficult, and you can uncover some defects that you might think are insurmountable. Well, what's impossible for us is totally possible with God. So we want you to move forward in your journey. And moving forward without a group isn't moving forward. So call us. Let us help you find a life recovery group today. There are groups online. There may be groups in your area. You could even start a group. But it's in the group that we find our new life in Christ, in recovery. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for Life Recovery Today with Stephen Arterburn. We hope this program has helped you integrate God's truth and wisdom into your recovery journey. This program is brought to you by New Life Ministries, and it's your support that keeps this program on the air. When you contact us for any reason, be sure to let us know that you watch on NRB. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to liferecoverytoday.net. Please join us again next week for more Life Recovery Today.